It's about like racism.
Yeah, it's like about like critical race theory or some shit. And I like
fucking monkeys.
Dude, like I like fucking was not expecting to get that. I got my fucking little Amazon Prime fucking package or whatever. That was like all I was expecting to get. And I'm like, huh. Like all it says, like all the thing fucking says on the back is like,
why are you gay?
no, it's like yeah, well, yeah. Why are you gay? No, it says Istanbul to Athens via Jerusalem, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, who fucking sent me this? And it's like Hillsdale College cruise. So I guess it's like you go on there's like a little map right there. I guess I'll take a picture of it or whatever. But yeah, it's like a little map of like you go from like all the way up in Turkey, like down the Mediterranean by like Cyprus, and then to Israel, and then like North Africa, and then you go to Crete, and then end up in Greece. And it's like supposed to be some kind of like college thing. But I don't think my mom went to
Railroad.
I don't think my mom went to Hillsdale College in the Underground Railroad. Is that what you just said?
Stupid.
Off to a fucking great start on this one. Good one.
Except for that one just got glanced over, but came back to bite me 30 seconds later.
But yeah, like there's the passage about Disney in here. It's like there has been similar response following the more recent revelations about the Walt Disney Company, a company founded 99 years ago and is associated in the public mind with wholesome family entertainment. I've been reporting on Disney for more than a year, and I have good sources inside the company. I broke a story last year about Disney forcing employees to engage in critical race theory training program. In a critical race theory training program that denounced America as fundamentally racist, had its white employees complete a white privilege checklist and included exercises on decolonizing bookshelves. Disney's first reaction was to deflect. In response to accusations of racism, the company issued a press release denying the charge. Incredibly, it offered as proof the fact that it had produced the movie Black Panther, a kind of corporate variation of the "I'm not racist, some of my best friends are black."
This is a Republican thing, or
it's from some college. It's called Imprimis, Imprimis, Laying the Siege to the Institutions by Christopher F. Rufo, founder, director, Battlefront. The following is adapted from a speech delivered at Hillsdale College on April 5th, 2022 during a 2-week teaching residency at Hillsdale as a Pulliam Distinguished Visiting Fellow in Journalism. Okay, so he's just like a super...
So are you signing up, or...
I know.
Is my mic loud enough? I don't know if I'm going crazy, or... I'm over here tapping it. Check. That's good.
You're good. You should be. Turn your cans up a little bit.
So are you signing up, or what?
No,
dude?
I'm not fucking doing that.
Let's do it.
No, I'm fucking... All right, so first off...
Summer 23.
It's in the middle of...
Why is turkey called turkey? Like, is there a bunch of fucking... turkey goblets over there or something?
I mean, I'm sure there's a good reason. I know that all of that area, that whole like North Africa...
In their language, is it spelled like how our fucking...
Probably not. Don't they have like... that's like a big Arabic like country? Like,
you know, like Italy is Italia. Like turkey's probably not spelled like turkey gobbler. Like it's probably...
like Turki or
I always
something.
enjoyed the country Turkey as a kid, though. I'm like... fucking turkeys. Didn't take much. Didn't take much to entertain me in like elementary school. It's my favorite fucking meal.
Canadian goose.
So stupid.
Blue Jays. Never met them. All right.
What's your favorite activity you did with your dad as a kid? Blue Jay.
No. Me and him had a healthy relationship.
That's healthy.
Yeah. No, it's not healthy.
Little protein shot in the morning.
Yeah. So what you been up to, dog?
Nothing. You know, just crippling gut issues. Here, sipping on my kombucha.
Kombucha. I'm
trying to fucking
sipping on some wah.
I had coffee this morning. I don't know. Same shit, different year. Just been having stomach problems for like 3 years. That's fun, but I'm doing a little better.
That's good to hear.
All right.
I got like one topic of business that I wanted to discuss, and that's it. But it's gonna be...
I never have topics. I come here blind. I
here...
hit you up about 20 minutes before. I'm like, hey, you want a podcast right now? And you're like,
I'm
sure.
Usually doing something schizophrenic, like in front of a computer. Like, yeah, I was playing a poker tournament. It was like researching how the Holocaust was fake. Like, really, Joe? Like, tell me more.
Might have been.
No.
You don't think?
Nah. It was real. Well, there's like every now and then you do fucking stumble on 4chan upon one of those like Holocaust denial threads, and that's like, it's entertaining because there are a lot of mental gymnastics in both fucking directions where it's like there's clearly like an atrocity that happened, like I don't know who's culpable for it.
Was it really that bad?
Yeah, because like the U.S. bombed the shit out of Germany, and all the supplies that like, cause like they were like, I don't know, like I don't really know how the narrative is like officially done, so I don't like want to step on anybody's toes here, like, and then like be like, no, you're wrong. But like from what I understand, like the U.S. was like at the end of the war was when like the Nazis were like really escalating like the death camps or whatever, because they were like trying to like not only hide their crimes, but like they were running out of supplies, and like the labor force was like a force that like, well, we got to fight more than we got to work, so like kind of like, you know, the bread's only going to one mouth, you know.
So I'll
like,
make them take some showers.
So so I think there was like a mixture of that, and then like the Allies bombing the shit out of Germany so bad that like all their supplies were like so fucked, like they had nothing that they could produce, like they were literally just beaten into oblivion. So I think like a lot of the death occurred from that as well, because they had like, there's like this one real popular denial theories that like they all were dying from typhus, and it's like, it's true, there was a lot of deaths that were from typhus, like there was, because there was typhus outbreaks in like, I think like Auschwitz.
What the fuck is typhus? Is that like typhoid fever?
Yeah, it's like a disease. It's like a disease that if you're like malnourished, that like can like really kill you really quickly, and like a lot of them were like extremely malnourished, and like, you know,
pretty cool.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, like there was like rumors that Anne Frank died of typhoid, and like because like there's also people that like are staunching that she was like gassed, and I'm kind of sure she died from typhoid from like what I've gathered, but like I said, I don't know what the official narrative, like the lines have become so blurred on what you are and aren't allowed to say about the subject that I'm like, we
could say anything. We have 27 subscribers.
Well, yeah,
so
like
doesn't matter.
But it's like I also don't want. Well, I can tell you about, this is actually a fun one. Have you ever looked into what the Anti-Defamation League is?
Only the anti-defecation. Stupid. I've heard the term, but I'm definitely not familiar.
Amber Heard, the Anti-Defecation League is Amber Heard's defense team.
Sponsored by Sleepy's Mattresses.
Shitty's Mattresses. Big Wally's Turniture Store. Dude. Yeah, the ADL is this. It's like or what it is. It's a. Yeah,
I just think it's kind of like hilarious that you're engaged to a German woman and now you're like, the Holocaust wasn't real, man. I swear.
Dude, I was like this before I was engaged to her. In fact, that was worse, man.
Got like a Nazi tank on the fucking.
No, that's a Russian tank. That's a T-34. Thank you, Seamers, for fucking pointing out that I called it the wrong thing. Yeah, like, it's actually been dialed back.
It was all fake.
Easy. Oh man. There was Jesus Christ.
So his delves into movies or conspiracies.
Well, we're also watching Cops at the same time.
It's hard not to look
It's hard
up
not to watch Cops. Like,
I'm a marijuana smoker.
That smokes marijuana. I'm a marijuana smoker.
He's guilty.
I mean,
not going to say why.
Yeah,
but.
you know why. It wasn't his bicycle, Jacob.
Oh my god.
You know it wasn't his bicycle.
I didn't do nothing.
That was the best YouTube channel ever. They had to delete it for obvious reasons, but it was a compilation.
Everyone's too soft now.
It's a compilation of all the black people saying I didn't do nothing. It was like a 40-minute video. It was great. It was one of my favorite channels because like if you need a laugh, it is really fucking funny because it's like they'll show them getting caught red-handed and then fucking being like, I didn't do anything. And then it's like, well, here's the pistol you threw and here's all the shell casings from when you shot at the cops.
Here's the empty bags of crack.
Yeah, like it's like you're dead to rights guilty, my dude.
My grandpa used to love that. He was an Ocean City cop for 25 years, but he would just love watching Cops. And then he would get off at watching like the people lying blatantly, and he's like, I don't know. He would get like a fucking rod just from like.
Oh, I bet.
He's like, that guy's so guilty. Like it's on film. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, I watched like a mini documentary yesterday about like how Cops is biased because like apparently places where Cops like has been like they're filming and like apparently Live PD has something similar going on too where like people like the positivity in the town or whatever kind of like steeply declines. Like people don't really want to live there anymore because they're like, oh, I'm from the town that's on Cops all the time. And like Miami is like one of those big ones. I think Kayla said like
that one in Florida. It's Pasco County.
Yeah, Pasco County. That's where Kayla's from, and she says that like Live PD or whatever filmed down there. And then when I worked in Louisiana, Slidell, Louisiana was on Live PD all the time too. And I worked for a company there, so I would be driving and like I recognize it's a very small town. Like I recognize the shit out of like there's like 4 main roads there that you can take, and I'm like, hey, I know that road. Like I know that bar. Like the cops were always there anyway. Like it's fucking hilarious. But yeah, like apparently
Didn't they shut those shows down amidst like the Block the Blue movement or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, and they got smart about it because they realized that not only Americans enjoy Cops, so they've been releasing it on Paramount Plus over in Europe and Asia, and it's like still a hit. And it's like it's retained its like syndication, and like yeah, like dude,
I have a very narrow worldview. Like I only think about things in American perspective.
Think about things in Cape May County.
Yeah,
like same,
not even American, just Cape May, just Upper Township, but. It's crazy how stuff that they can't do here, they can just ship around the world, and it's just still a hit. Like,
yeah, right.
That guy Drake Bell from Drake and Josh, he got like arrested for pedophilia or whatever the fucking. He was like
he was being
hitting
like,
on like a 15-year-old.
He was like doing lewd acts or whatever for a minor.
Yeah, sending like dick pics to a 15-year-old, some weird shit.
Yeah,
but he's still like a star in Japan or something.
No shit, really.
I'm pretty sure some country.
Age 18, began a relationship with Ezra Miller when she was only 12 years old, and Miller would have been 23 at the time. In order to keep her safe from Ezra Miller, the report claims that Miller groomed Iron Eyes from a young age, effectively keeping her prisoner and supplying her with LSD, marijuana, and alcohol.
At 12?
At 12.
Jesus Christ. We were both probably boozing around 12.
That was the first time I got drunk was when I was 12. I remember, what was the first time you got drunk? Because I remember the first time I got drunk. I know exactly where I was.
I know it was at my grandparents' and like I lifted some booze from my grandmom's garage. I don't remember the exact first time I tried a few drinks. It was fine. The first few times I would just have like a few swigs or whatever, and I was fine. But then I asked out this girl in like 8th grade, and I decided I need to celebrate that night. So I had about 8 rum and cokes. She said yes, so I'm like, yeah, dude, I'm fucking big
Getting
pimpin'.
fucking wasted, dog.
Getting wasted by myself playing Xbox in the garage.
Hell yeah.
And I threw up all over the kitchen.
Nice.
Had to clean it up, but I don't remember the exact first drink. I just remember it was in the garage, and I just made like a couple mixed drinks and was fine, had a nice buzz. I'm like, this is awesome.
Right on.
But I'm struggling to remember the exact first time.
I was at, it was
8th grade, though.
It was called Werewolf Golf. That they would have at that place on 9, that little shitty, not Sam Barron's, what the fuck is it called? It's one in Upper Township.
I don't fucking Blue Heron or whatever.
No, that's a retirement home. It's the fucking golf course. Why can't anyway, they have like a fucking fundraiser where it's like 50% of the money or whatever donated, it goes towards charity, and then 50% goes towards a beef and beer, and they have it at dusk, so everybody plays 9 holes of golf with like glow in the dark golf balls, and like they give you free beer, and like you get to eat as much as you want, and like people will drive around on golf carts and give you beer out of kegs that they have on the back of them. So me and a friend of mine, I'll leave her name out of this, but me and a friend of mine decided that we would go get the cups refilled for our parents, because like the cart would like come around and come to your cart, but you could like go a hole back or a hole ahead of you and get like another cup of beer, and we had like 6 people with us, so we were getting 6 cups of beer every time. And then like when they were filling
too on the way back,
dude, when we were getting them filled up, we would like pour like we would take like sips out of each one, and then like, you know, it would all be even or whatever, and they would be like, yeah, there's a lot of head on it or whatever. By the end of the night, because after like 9 holes of golf, that's like what, 3 hours, dude, I was blackout fucking drunk. I just remember getting out of the car, getting like, because we had just moved into this house, getting out of the car and just being like, whoa, like this is fucking awesome. And then like not having all the trees that we had with the old house, I could see the sky. This is fucking amazing.
Did you ever like,
and it was burping
did your parents let you like have like a beer and stuff when you were younger? Like my mom used to let me have like a Mike's Hard Lemonade sometimes.
They would
I'd be like, dude, I'm fucking lit.
Usually when my mom would have her college buddy come down for the summer, they would like, we'd go out to eat or like get takeout or something like that, and they'd all have beer, and they'd be like, here, have a couple sips, and like I would like it, and then like my mom was like, okay, like, you know, 1 or 2 sips is fine, but like, you're not having a whole one. And then like, sure enough, I was having a whole one. And then I was like, oh, I could just like drink behind your back. This is fucking easy as fuck. And I would just like fucking get wasted at like 12 and go to like,
yeah, my grandma had an entire garage full of like different handles. So it's just like, let me just pick a different one every day and she'll never notice. And then by the time I was graduating high school, she's like, how are all of these handles like almost gone? And I'm like, yeah, Uncle Buck, he drinks a lot. I don't know. He's hitting it hard over here. She's like, it was you.
No.
I was caught like dead to rights. I'd just been stealing water bottles full like for the entirety of high school.
Hell yeah.
It was a good time.
That's like always a fun thing too, like having that conversation when it's like, this bottle of Captain Morgan was like filled almost to the top and now it's halfway gone. What happened? And I'm like, you guys were up here drinking that the other day, and they're like, we absolutely weren't. And it was like,
no, they weren't.
It was like,
you're just sticking to the lie.
Dude,
you gotta,
dude. Just like I don't know what to tell you. Also, for whatever reason, I had this idiot friend. I won't say his name, but he thought that margarita mix had alcohol in it. He would come over to my house and chug margarita mix and act
sugar
drunk
headache
and act drunk, and then like get like the runs the next day. And we'd always have like sleepovers, and the next morning he'd just be like shitting lava. And he's like, I don't know what was in that like tequila, man. I was like, you didn't have any tequila, you just drank margarita mix straight. He's like, no, man, like I mean, it goes right through you. Like I was fucking wasted. Like, no, you weren't. Like,
it's the best.
I was a functioning alcoholic at fucking 13. Like I was.
There was a kid there where my mom would like let us have like the Smirnoff Apple like wine coolers or whatever, and my one buddy would have one and he would just be acting wasted, and my mom's like, this kid's a fucking idiot. Like,
this kid's a fanook.
He's not like, but I'm still trying to remember the first time. It was some like random school night and I had like 3 mixed drinks, kind of strong, and then like this kid Sammy Hubby somehow ended up at my grandparents' house. Like he biked from like Tuckahoe there, and he's like, oh, I want to fucking drink, and we were just like,
hell yeah,
fucking
dude, we're like adults.
Yeah, it was stupid. My grandpa was a cop, but had like no idea, and we're just like, yeah, we're just drinking soda out of red Solo cups, Pop. Like, less carbonation, bro.
I had this one time I got caught dead to rights, and I always thought it was funny because it was like the time that like if my parents were gonna bust me for anything, this was the time to have busted me. And it was just like, I don't know how, and I told my mom about this years later, and I was like, I don't know how the hell you guys didn't fucking see the writing on the wall with this, but when I turned 18, you could go up. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, like I went to Philly because you could buy cigars at 18
Hell
back
yeah.
when I was in high school. So we were like, oh, dude, let's all like get fucking stogs, and like on my birthday, like let's like burn some stogs.
Cool, dude.
Burn some stogs. So like me, my friend CJ, and my girlfriend at the time all went up there, and we went to this cigar store on South Street and got a bunch of like spent like $100 on cigars. Felt like a fucking badass, you know, like they had like a grab and go like kind of thing that you could get. So I got like a variety, and like we're like, oh yeah, we're gonna get back to the house and like smoke these. And then I realized like my parents were gonna be there, so we're like, oh, let's go to my girlfriend's house in Ocean City. So like no one was there. We all had, like smoked cigars. They were disgusting. Like,
yeah, cigars stink.
They do.
Not really a fan.
But one of the other things that we gleaned on the way home was you could get like 40-ounce beers from this one store on the way out of Philly, and it's like right by the bridge in China. Like not like
no ID required,
dude. Like
like the place in AC by the Trop,
dude. Right there, like exact same fucking deal, yo. So we got like I think like a dozen 40 ounces, and like I stuffed them all into my lacrosse bag because like we had the cigars, and I was like, if anything, we could just be like, oh, we were going to Philly for the cigars, and it probably wouldn't be too much hassle. We didn't have anything else besides the beer on us, so like you know, when nothing happened, we got home unscathed. But I fell asleep at my girlfriend's house and
just a bunch of warm 40s.
Fell asleep at till 2 o'clock in the morning, and my mom called me and woke me up because she called me like 5 times. It was like, where the fuck are you? And I'm like, oh, I fell asleep on like so-and-so's couch. And she's like, you got to get home right fucking now. It's like a half-hour drive from that end of Ocean City back here. So like it's 2:30 in the morning. She's pissed. She's up, and I'm like, shit, I just got to go get my lacrosse bag out of the truck. And she's like, you go get that, you get in here, and I don't even want to hear you till tomorrow morning. And I'm like, okay. So I like and I was like, can I bring my lacrosse bag in? She's like, yeah, that's fine. And
clink, clink, clink.
Dude, it was like the fucking Jingle Bells playing. But she was so mad at me, she didn't put one and one together. She just sent me to my room, and I was like, how did that work? Like, how did that fucking work? And like she did, she left me alone. I like fucking
just cracking ice.
Dude, I did. Like fucking 2:30 in the morning. I just
like 4 times throughout the night.
Fucking like just cracked a beer. Was like, I'm celebrating. This is the fruit of my labor. Like, yeah. So, but yeah, I told her about that years later. She was like, "You did what?" And I was like, "Yeah, I went up to Philly. We bought those cigars, but I like bought beer too."
Were they cold 40s?
No, they were like they were like in a case, and I took them out of the case and like wrapped, like put one of my elbow pad, one of my like chest protector.
I was just thinking like you got a bunch of skunked beer in your closet.
No, they were warm. Like they were warm at the store, but it was pretty fucking funny. Like just like everybody would be like. I'd be like, yo, I got a fucking shoebox full of Natty at my house because I'd have like beer like stashed throughout. So I didn't have like I'd have one in the fridge if I was going to drink that night, but I would have to like keep the rest of it like incognito.
My grandma used to have these huge parties at the Beasley's Point house, and there would always be like they overly prepare for parties. So there's just a cooler full of water with all these like beers that no one drank, like all the ice melted, and it would be there for like days because just get shoved in the garage and deal with it later. Yeah. So it was like a week later, and there's just these like floaty fucking beers, and me and Westy took like throughout the course of the night like 4 Coors Lights each, and like we didn't get drunk at all. Like we were just chucking them in the woods. So like, we'd go outside, chug one, smash the can, and chuck it in the woods, and I remember we were both like bummed. Like, when is this gonna hit us? Like, it just never fucking hit us. So we just had to pee a lot. It was fucking stupid.
It is.
And then like a week later, my grandpa, super anal, was like meticulous about maintaining his property, and he found the fucking cans like 20 feet in the woods and was like, "What are these fucking Coors Light cans out here?" I was like, "Oh, it must have been from the party." Mm-hmm. Like he didn't want to believe that it was just me like just chugging beers in 8th grade, but it didn't. I remember we were both so disappointed. Like, this didn't work at all. Like, we just risked our freedom for no bullshit. Buzz, and just my butthole hurts, and I keep having to pee. I have early onset prostatitis now from this Coors Light.
Dude, that like that feeling of like this juice wasn't worth the squeeze. There was this one time I jumped through like leaps and bounds to go to this fucking party in Ocean City, and they were like, all right, so I had to be like dropped off by the high school and then be dropped off again by the high school at like 10 o'clock. So I get dropped off at like 7. And then if like I meet friends or like, and we're like walking around like on the boardwalk and shit, but like the party was on like 58th Street.
Oh
so I had to like get there, get dropped off, give it enough time. Cause my dad would sometimes hang out in the area and kind of snoop on me. Like he'd go get a Voltacos hoagie and like,
that's what I'm going to be like. It's a dad. I know all your tricks, little fucker.
Yeah. Like, dude, like you're not getting one over on fucking.
I was a complete scumbag. You're not fooling me.
Yeah, but like you also were like, "Hey, you going to fuck some chick?" Yeah, we're up, something like that. You'd be that cool dad.
Yeah.
But no, like I would have to like get a ride from another friend to take me to 58th Street, and then like get there and start drinking like it's the apocalypse because I only have like 2 hours, like an hour and a half realistically to like drink as much as I can, and then like I'd have to walk back to the high school, and I thought that would like sober me up because like you're young, you don't really like
you would walk back from 58th Street.
Yeah. Like,
just like a casual 5-mile walk.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It was fun. Like me and like I would usually go with like my friend Tommy, and like it was like a good way of like because you
fun adventure.
You can because like you can like if you need to throw up, you can get it all out of you. Then like we had a whole system down. Yeah. Like it was a pretty good. Like it was like fucking retarded in hindsight. Like how I didn't just get directly dropped off at the party. Or like just be like, yeah, I'm going over to my friend's house, and it was never like a rager. It was always just like 6 kids drinking in somebody's like grandma's house. That's their like shore house.
Yeah,
and like
I've never seen it.
It's good. It's on Hulu right now.
I remember Tom Green though. My bum is on the rail. My bum is on. He had like songs and shit. The Bum Bum song.
He had a song in Road Trip. Didn't
he die?
No, he's alive.
I'm thinking of Screech.
Yeah, Screech sucks. I hated Saved by the Bell. Saved by the Bell is fucking dog shit. I'm sure right now like Burnsy and
wasn't he like a porn star or something though?
Yeah, he did everything.
Giant dong on him, right?
Yeah, well, he did like every publicity stunt that like someone who's trying to stay in their 15 minutes of fame does. Like I think he did porn at one point.
Then he did celebrity
boxing. Was he the one that fought fucking the ginger guy that fucking smoked the cigarette? What's his fucking name? Now this is gonna be like.
The Phone Tooth Podcast. My phone was on fire in my pocket.
Why is that?
I was watching some Snapchat story on loop the whole time recording. Like, it's muted so you couldn't hear it, but I'm like, why is my phone so hot?
Fucking... Oh, he fucking fought the bagel guy. That's who he fought. Fucking Bagel Boss, you remember that? Oh, and he fought Todd Bridges.
Bagel Boss sucked.
Yeah.
He also had some health problems.
What happened to him?
He had like a stroke or something. I think he's still alive though, but he was hospitalized in like the peak of his fame.
Danny Bonaducci's the guy I'm thinking of. He fought Danny Bonaducci fought Donny Osmond, and he smoked a cigarette while he was fighting in the ring.
Rip Torn. That's not who I was imagining.
Yeah, he's the old gruff guy from Dodgeball.
He's been in a bunch of stuff.
You can dodge traffic, you can dodge a ball. Like he just makes like there's a really funny story about him. And I learned this from Red Letter Media too, that he got so drunk one time at his home in Connecticut, or at a bar in Connecticut, that he broke into a bank because he thought it was his house.
Happens to the best.
Literally got so drunk he fell asleep at a bank thinking that it was like I guess it was like in his neighborhood or whatever. Like fucking got the wrong door. Just fell asleep in there.
I think we've talked about it here, but I've done that a few times.
Yeah, my house. Thanks.
No. Where one time at a party, I'm just like banging on the neighbor's door at 3 a.m. Like, let me back into the party. Like, get this fucking guy out of here. And I woke up without a shoe. Like, never got that shoe back. And then the other time was walking home from a party in Seaville, and I was like half a mile from the party, and I guess I changed my mind, and I'm like banging on this guy's door at like 5 a.m.
You know what? I will return to this party.
I have glimpses. I like stole a bottle of Hennessy and like have no recollection of it. And like they told me like, no, you took that Hennessy. Like Stu and Smallwood were like, no, like you grabbed that. Like, because I brought my own bottle and finished it.
Right.
And then this other kid that had a bottle of Hennessy, and I was like, fuck that kid. What is he going to do? I'm not a thief. I have no recollection of this. But apparently I just walked out of the party and started walking home 7 miles with a bottle of Hennessy.
You were in a good place in life, Jacob.
No, I was not.
You were absolutely in a good place.
And, I made it about half a mile away, and then I started banging on some old guy's door at like 5 a.m. And I just have a one glimpse of memory of this guy screaming at me, "Get the fuck off my property!" And then I just ran down the street and like collapsed under a street light. And then my Snapchat story, I was like 300 pounds. So I ran about 100 feet. And I
had a fat attack.
Yeah, literally. My Snapchat story the next day, it was just me laying on the ground in like the middle of the road under a street light and just breathing heavily for like 20 seconds. And I was like, what the fuck was this? And then you like put the pieces together and you're like, oh shit, I was banging on that guy's door. And then I had like panic attacks about like, I'm gonna run into this guy at the grocery store and he's gonna like give me side eye and I'm gonna have no idea who he is.
There's this time I was in college. I was a sophomore. It was when Four Loko was real. So before I left the dormitories to go to this party, and I also have to contextualize it like this. I had a 4-person room, and we were on a floor of 4-person rooms that were all people we were friends with, and we had like 16 rooms on our floor, most of which were like our friends. So whenever we'd go to a party, it would be like 30 to 50 people coming, and like all from our fucking floor, and like people would deliberately like invite us, and like they knew us as the Hague House guys because like we were in the Hague House and there was like 50 people in the Hague House, and like most of the time by the second semester when we go to parties there would be like all 50 of us going out in unison, like, or most of us. But we would all go to like parties and shit together. And there's this one party my sophomore year where I was drinking Four Loko and doing shots of vodka, which is a brilliant fucking idea for a 19-year-old to be doing before a party.
I'm like a little too heavy of a pregame.
Yeah, did like 2 shots of vodka and then pulled the actual Leahy meme and like fucking like I was
stumbled down the stairs.
I got to the party and was so fucking drunk when I got there. The only thing I could think was, "Hey Mark, let's go smoke a joint." And he's like, "That's not a good idea. You're pretty drunk." And I'm like, "Nah, I need a joint right now." Sure enough, within 5 minutes, I took like 2 puffs and just fucking vomit. I'm hanging over their fence into their neighbor's yard, just puking my fucking guts out. And they left me there. Everybody else just went inside and partied. And I was like, "No, we're gonna just be doing this for the rest of the night." So I was there for like maybe 2 hours on the fence, and then at some point, people would come up and check on me and everything. They were saying I was like the scare Joe because I was like I had my arms up and everything because I felt comfortable. I was like I fell asleep standing up like on the fence with like puke running down my leg and shit. Lost my phone, lost my wallet, lost my ID, so I couldn't even get back into the dorms. They had to like prop me up in the fucking thing so I could go through the turnstile to get back into my dormitory. And so everything ends up okay though. Like, everything's good. But I have like 2 memories from that party. One of which is at one point someone coming up to me while I was outside and going, "You good?" And me just going like while I'm over the fence, just like that. And then I remember getting carried out of the party like a baby that had just like shit his pants. Like my friend Mike came and picked me up under my armpits and carried me out of the party with puke running down me. And I'm like, wait, what's happening? And he's like, Joe, we're getting kicked out of the party. And I was like, what? And he's like, and everybody said that it was like when you shake someone who's asleep awake, that like I was getting like, oh, I'm moving now. What's going on? And Mike's like, yeah, we're getting kicked out of the party. And I mustered up like a sentence. I go, why are we getting kicked out of the party? And he goes, because
you're vomiting everywhere.
No, it wasn't because of me. It was because one of the kids we brought with it was this dickhead I know named Derek. He called the guy that was the host of the party his girlfriend. She was a little bit chubby. He called her a pound cake to her face. And
that's not even that bad.
And I like looked at Mike. I just go, nice. And they put me in the back of a pickup truck, face down.
So some Long Island activities.
So that I vomited like through the slats of the bed liner. And then when I got home, I lost all of my things. All of my accoutrement was completely missing. And then it took me like 24 hours to find my wallet, my phone, which someone had, like one of my friends just had, but like
just a brutal next morning where you're like, where's all my stuff?
You know what's great too is that the next morning everybody remembered me being so fucked up. So like people took me out to breakfast and like bought me food because they knew I didn't have like money or like my wallet or anything. And then they took me to the mall and got me more food later. I'm like, this is kind of cool. Like this is neat. And like I
do this every week.
I was like, yeah, like I need to become just like a stumbling alcoholic. Like, I need to become a real fucking stumbled bum. There we go. All right. Yeah, so you asked me how work's going. Work's going fucking miserably. People are fucking stupid. And then like yesterday we had not like peak stupidity, but we had like pretty fucking like I don't even know how to describe it. We just had like a retarded way to end the fucking week. And like it was because all right, so there's like logistics that come with having to be like any kind of business or like any kind of like enterprise that you're in. Like it's like you have to at some point judge like what the manpower is over like what it costs to basically like your operating expenses. So like we've reached like critical mass on that where we're like no longer like our operating expenses are like so like ridiculously high because we're like so overstaffed and like everybody's broke right now because like everything's fucking expensive that like the waitress hubris is like coming back to bite them in the asses. And it's like it's just like very fun to watch like from my perspective because it doesn't like I have a fucking shitty workload to begin with. Like but I know what I sign up for. Like I go in there, I work 10 to 12 hour days and like just like stand in one spot and like have to be fucking hot and uncomfortable. And it's like I'm used to it though. Like and I know like at the end of the week I get my fucking paycheck and like it's the same every fucking week. It's not a big fucking deal. So like even if I'm working 60 hours and like then you're tired, you don't even have like time to spend it or anything. And like I gotta squirrel some cash away this year, so I'm like just putting it right in the fucking savings account. But like because I'm consistent, it's like I'm watching like the waitresses all fucking lose their shit because they've been so inconsistent. And it's really funny to me because they're the ones that are like making their operating expenses way too fucking high and stretching themselves like instead of stretching themselves too thin, they just like are like not doing anything. So what's been happening?
What do you mean? Like they're just not showing effort in the workplace because they're not making the money that they want?
Well, yeah, it's like kind of like a balance of like they don't want to work in general because they're lazy. That's why they're waitresses. They're lazy. And oh, by the way, this part is definitely getting published because I've wanted to gripe about how bad they are, and if like they hear this, because I know one does listen. Like I just am like I'm over it. Like they're fucking lazy, and like what they do is that Ian and I have talked about how that front of house can be run by one very capable person at any given point of the day except the dinner rush. So like from 4 to 8 you need multiple people to be there, and that's completely understandable. But for like Thursdays, Sundays, Mondays, like Tuesdays and Wednesdays when we're open full time, like not Friday and Saturday because there is a lunch rush, and if it's like a beach day, like even the weekends, like it's like you need another person there just to kind of diffuse. Like you can't be on the phone and ringing someone up and then like also waiting table. Like you need someone there. But like these like really slow days, they bring 2 people on instead of just 1 because they get bored, and then they make no money. They make no money at lunch because nobody comes in for lunch. They're either at the beach or it's like too like shitty outside to like walk around because like we're on Dune Drive. We're not near like if we were like at the beach or like on the boardwalk, we get a lot of foot traffic regardless, because then it's like, oh, I'm just coming off the beach. Someone goes to get like a slice of pizza, a bottle of water or something like that. You know, we have, you know, we're accommodating, we're right there, but it's not like that.
Location.
We're 3 blocks from the beach, so like we're on the main fucking drag. And what they don't seem to get is that like they're like, when you add more people, regardless of if you're bored or not, there's television, there's things you can do. Like they could, even if they completely have done like they're setting up and like prep, which they never fucking do, which is like the second like where this is going, but like they could still entertain themselves by themselves and still be able to, like, because then they would make all the tips, like all the tips would
split tips.
But yeah, they have to split tips. So when you bring someone else in, you're earning an hourly
your money in half.
You're earning an hourly wage, but you are cutting your fucking the substantial part of your paycheck. You're cutting that in half, if not
what
further.
Do they get paid per hour now?
Like $4 or something.
It used to
like
be
that.
Like $2.
Yeah, it's like they're not at like the minimum wage, but it's like it evens out somehow.
Yeah, I
forget how it worked out, but like it just does. So they're salty because, you know, their paychecks are like $80.
Yeah,
and then like, you know, they're going home with like $30 in tips on like a Saturday, and it's because we have 2 that are managers. And they don't want to do anything ever. Like the one just likes walking around and like they're on Duolingo and fucking Instagram all fucking day, or just texting, or just, you know, like doing anything but fucking work. And then they insisted on bringing this other girl in to work the counter so that they can focus on tables. But in reality, they just make the other girl do all the work for them. And then when push comes to shove, because they don't get that many tables and she's doing all the counter work, she like doesn't clean up, but she does pretty good at like there. But the counter and the waitresses don't split tips. She makes all the counter tips, not the dining room tips. So like they're salty because she makes more money than them now, but it's also she does the work, but they just want to sit there and do nothing. And like, you know, rolling silverware is like their biggest thing. They don't want to do that. They bitch about it. It's like it takes like 10 minutes to do. It's not that hard, but it's like they don't know how to like deal with like find the fun in like doing something mundane. And like when you have your buddy in the kitchen, or like let's just be back there by myself, I just do nothing. I just like listen to a podcast,
hop on a podcast,
yeah, and like or
listen
just like
to BLACKTOOth,
or just like literally do like something else, like I'll be like cupping coleslaw and like frying chips at the same time. So it's like it feels like I'm doing like, you know, I'm occupied. I'm like doing something where I'm focused. But like they just don't know how to deal with the boredom, and it's very amusing to me. So they're like on their phones. I like, God forbid I learn how to use the fucking POS machine, because I will start like seating and like waiting on tables while I can also cook, because they don't want to fucking do that. They're all afraid of the customers. It's fucking weird.
How are you a server but you're afraid of giving customer service?
They insisted on putting a fucking curtain in front of like the hostess stand, because they're like, oh, they stare at us too much. It's like, you're supposed to be stared at. Like, you're supposed to be the person that, like, you're the medium between what the product is and the customer. So you got to be that like resource to them. So yeah, they're going to be staring at you, but I don't like it. They're sometimes creepy. Like if
they weren't staring at you, you'd be complaining about how your self-esteem's taking a hit because no one's checking you out.
If you like put it in perspective, it's a customer service based job where your tips reflect the effort you put in. So if you already walk up there with this mindset of like, oh, this guy's weird, like, yeah, you're gonna treat them differently than if you just faked it. And they don't like want to fake it for whatever fucking reason. They just want to be like fucking like, oh, like we're the bosses, like we're in charge.
Girl boss.
Yeah, dude, it's just like and like it's not like a critique of like women. It's specifically the fucking women I work with, because they're like, and not even the owner. The owner is hardworking, and it's like she just hires these people because at one point they were like competent, but now like they're kind of in charge, and there's no recourse to it. And it's very funny to me that like, oh well, like, we don't make as much in tips as we want to. Well, maybe stop bringing people on that you don't need and do the work you need to do, which, by the way, they still don't do. We were like in there. The first thing you do in the morning when you're working out there is you fill up the thing with ice, like the deli case with ice, and then you put a cutting board out there. So if somebody wants fresh fish right off the rip, hi, how you doing today? Oh, you want a fillet of salmon? Here you go. I'm going to pop that right on the cutting board, cut it up, weigh it up. Does that sound good? Okay, cool. Bing, bang, boom. Easy enough. they didn't bring cutting boards out like any of the days this week. So like they would have to like be like, I don't know what the price would be on that because I have to run and get a cutting board. Can you just hold like, and it's like, well, now the customers
streamline this fucking operation.
The customer is now annoyed because they're waiting around, or like they don't have like a cheat sheet of like what the daily market prices are for things. So they'll have to like turn around and look, and it's like you should be able to answer these questions like bing bang boom. And like I normally do, like I look these up at the beginning of the day because I like taking the phone calls because I don't trust them to put the orders back correctly, like let alone like tie their shoes correctly most of the time. But like I'll take the order over the phone and then they put it into the computer for me. And like I know, like I once in a while will have to ask the market price for something, but like it's in a direct line of sight from where I am, and if I'm not in that direct line of sight, it's like a market price on snow crab. That'll be $28 a pound or whatever. Like, you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, it's like actually like 64 right now a pound. It's really fucking expensive. But yeah, they just are like, oh, let me go ask the cooks real quick. And like they should know things that, like you said, like streamline the process, but they don't. And then when I tell them that they're dumb and that they're costing themselves money for that, like by not being aware, like they don't know what the platters look like. They gave my food away. Like they didn't know that wasn't something on the menu and just bagged it up and sent it. Like, and I'm like, that wasn't anything that looks like anything on the menu. Oh, well, we just saw a container and sold it. It's like, do you use your fucking heads? Like, what are you fucking doing? And then they're all complaining about not making enough money. But then like every time I fucking go out there's a phone ringing somewhere in the restaurant and like customers waiting to be sat. But there's like 3 of them all together doing Duolingo or looking at Instagram. And I'm like, you are the ones that are costing yourselves money. And it's like, I work the same amount of effort. Like I've given up on like trying to get like you know, mad about this shit too. Because like the more mad I get, the more they complain to the owner, and like they treat the owner like it's like my mom or something like that. They're like, I'm gonna go tell Michelle, and it's like,
go ahead,
go the fuck ahead. Like if she wants to fire me, by all fucking means, she should fire me. I don't need the fucking headache working with you guys. I could use the days off. Believe me, I have a trust.
It's probably something that happens in all restaurants, though.
Not everywhere.
I haven't worked in a restaurant since 2011, but it was the same. They were making good money. This was boom times, and they still just like complained. Like I never really had any gripe with servers until I worked in a restaurant. Like some of them were cool. Like, there's always a few cool ones, but most of them were just lazy fucking jerk offs who like wanted to do bare minimum, and then they would make the most money out of anyone there, and then they would leave before we even finished cleaning up. Like, they're just cutting out at 8, and we're there mopping till like 10. It's like
it's like,
and then you guys pull tips, that's fine, but our restaurant did not. So, and I was a busboy for like the last few weeks because the one kid went back to college, and like they were just fucking me over. Like, damn. They were all making like $400 a night, and they would I'd get an envelope with like $5-10 bills in it, and they'd be like, "Thanks for your help." And then one lady would hand me like $50, and she'd be like, she was an older woman. She'd be like, "They're fucking you over." Like, this is bullshit.
There's usually like, did you have an expediter at that place? Like someone that was in the kitchen, but they just were like that person that helped all the servers and the takeout people.
No,
like,
they would just get me as a dishwasher.
And then you would go and be like, all right, this is going to a table. This is going to a customer that's taking this out. And then you would run it to the front or whatever.
Not really. They would just have me like help carry out trays and shit sometimes. It was a really small restaurant. There was no expediter.
Okay, so like we have an expediter, and everywhere else I've worked in the country, because I've worked in like 8 kitchens, like everywhere else I've worked, the expediter gets tipped out by the waitstaff, as well as the busboys, as well as the dishwasher. They tip out the busboy. Never got tipped as a dishwasher. They tip out the busboy 10%, if that. Sometimes it's more like 8 because they get fucked over on tips because they're shitty waitresses. But then, they never tip out the dishwasher, never tip out the expediter. And every time I'm like, hey, who's expediter tonight? When they're all out there tallying up their tips and whatnot, be like, hey, when do you guys tip out the expediter here? It's like, I just like to sow the seeds of dissent into their head to know that like you guys are being scumbags and that you're doing it wrong. And like if you did things right, things would go a lot smoother here. But they don't, because they don't want to be told that they're wrong, and they're all defensive about it.
It's just like the entitlement thing.
It is. It's like, dude, you are doing the easiest fucking job, and you're not even putting any effort into that, and you're expecting me to fucking treat you like you clean. I get there 30 minutes early most days. I clean the fryers. I fucking work on my feet. I get all the prep work done before we're open. They half the time, like Yesterday
they
was
just show up and think all of that happened.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
That's exactly it. They have this like McDonald's mentality where it's like it's just the drive-through. You just walk back there and food fucking occurs. Yeah. Like they have no fucking concept of that. They come back and like they're supposed to stir the soup so that the soup's bechamel doesn't break, like it stays like nice and consistent and soupy. Instead of doing that, they just literally are like, "Oh, we're gonna come back here and eat soup." And we'll just like
steal fries from
the fucking... dude, like, and it's like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Go fucking scrub something.
And then they'll be like, I'm so bored.
Yeah, I'm so bored. Oh my God, it's so cold out there. And like, I know they do it deliberately too, because they get under my skin, but well, there's a reason I make more fucking money than you. You can be as passive aggressive as you want, but when push comes to shove, your job could be done by a fucking Roomba with a fucking tray attached to it. And you understand that one of these days, your job is going to be replaced by a conveyor belt. And it's going to be...
It already has been in some like sushi restaurants and
shit.
Dude,
they have a place over there. They're called automats. And I like those. I like that concept because it's like the customer cannot complain about something that they have to deliberately take off of a fucking thing. And I think that concept is wild to me. Because even if you don't like it, you can be like, I don't like this. But it's like, but you pulled it. Well, it like, and there's like, obviously like, hey, this isn't fresh, or like, hey, this doesn't, like, this might be bad or something like that. Obvious mistakes too, like, and those are reasonable. But like, yeah, if you are the one that like there is no menu, the menu just cruises around you and like is periodically changed for freshness, and you're the one that it's like a buffet. It's kind of like the liabilities on the user at that point. Like nobody's twisting your arm to get anything, and it's like you have the ability to create whatever menu you want in your head. I love this concept because A, no servers. B, if they fuck up, it's on them. It's not on you. And like C, I get to hide in the kitchen all day and just put things on a conveyor belt. I could sit there and work in front of a television and like, you know, or listen to Rogan all day.
There is servers that'll probably get pissed hearing this, and like it's not
I hope they do. I hope you guys get your life together. Go get a fucking degree.
As far as labor intensive jobs, though, it's not. You're not fucking slinging concrete all day. Your job
chance.
Is more annoying than labor intensive. Like, yes,
exactly.
You have to deal with annoying people, and you're getting paid to do such.
Exactly, like, and it's like it reflects that too. It's like you have to bear the brunt of dealing with
rude old people.
Yeah, like people that have unrealistic expectations of what your product is. And I understand that facet of it, but going up there and not killing them with kindness so that they have no reason not to tip you, they will feel genuine remorse for not tipping you because it's like, oh, that person was like, even though this is fucked up and it's not what I expected, this is their job and the gratuity is like, you know, intertwined with what they do. I would feel bad giving anything more or anything less than 10%. At least it's something. It's a shallow gesture, but it is something. They, off the bat, like, they're like, oh yeah, that guy didn't tip. Well, it's like, yeah, because you walked up there and you're like, oh, I already don't like this guy. And they'll come back and be like, I already don't like the way this guy looks. He just gives me...
And it's he can pick up on that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Like, and it's like they're not fucking subtle about it too. You can hear everything in the restaurant. I think half of the customers hear us freaking out back there most of the time. But like, dude, totally, like, absolutely. But like, dude, they like walk around a corner where there's like a curtain and then there's like a fucking divide on there, and like they're just rude about like everything. Like, I've never been to a restaurant where like it's like, hey, can I get something? 1 second, like. Okay, like, but like not like just like I'll be right with you. I'm sorry, I'm a little busy right now. Like overly probably
everything.
1 second. Yeah, it's like they're fucking dicks. Like I don't want to fucking go there. And like,
what's your opinion on mail servers? Because I've had pretty good experiences like at Texas Roadhouse, and not saying it's perfect. They forgot things, but like they're. I feel like mail servers have to work for it harder.
They do, and it shows too. It reflects very much on them. But you know, it's because it depends on the place. Also, I've had mail servers that sucked, and I've had mail servers that ruled. And a lot of the mail servers that worked at Oceanside were really fucking good because they understand exactly what you just said. They have to work for it.
They don't have a tight ass.
Yeah, they don't have yoga pants. Yeah, they can like fucking.
I mean, they can, but there's gonna be a lot of flip flopping around in the front. Yeah, no one wants to see that.
I mean, and it's like it's very like obvious, like you know what they have to do it, but they understand that, and I think there's just
you have to actually provide quality service. You're not just gonna get paid for being hot.
Yeah, exactly. Like and like they're also not. Like, dude, I could like read you some of the Yelp reviews. It's like the fakest fucking shit that like I hear them telling people, oh, if you write us a Yelp review, you should say this. And it's like they do, but it's like I know that they're doing it because they feel bad for like that this is all you have going on in your life. It's like
the same thing happens on DoorDash where I'm always on DoorDash Reddit and the different gig apps on Reddit.
Yeah.
Just scrolling around on the just the different pages, and a lot of DoorDash drivers will like text the customer and be like, please give me a positive review. And it's
so
just like
desperate.
Like,
no.
Why would you do that? Reviews literally mean nothing on DoorDash too.
Yeah.
Like, as long as you don't go below like a 4.2 out of 5, you can't even be fired. And like, it doesn't affect your ability to get orders. Like, it's literally pointless. And people are like pestering customers, leaving like cards on their bag, like, please give me a 5-star. And it's just like, why are you like e-bagging? Like, I don't know. I don't fuck with that. I literally communicate with the customer as little as possible, because I think if you're ordering on one of these apps, you don't want to deal with
exactly
a customer service person. Like, you would have just called the restaurant and dealt direct if you wanted to. But normally, if you're ordering on one of these apps, you're socially awkward and autistic, like we are. Well, you'll fucking do it. But I used to hate calling up the pizza joint. Where now you don't have to. So why am I going to be like bothering this fucking person? Like, I just leave it on the porch and take a picture and go. Like,
well, that's like kind of the thing that I have, like, and this is like, we have two, like, you are pretty much like, I'm the start product and then you are the end product, like in where we go. I just
take it from the store to the person and that's it.
Yeah, but you have like no meddling in that. You're not the one that like orders it, or like you're not like all you are is a third party to take it from me to them, and like that's something
on Uber and Grubhub there is order and pay orders where you actually have to call up. You're supposed to go there and place the order and wait for it, but like I've outsmarted the system and I'll just call ahead and order it myself, and you pay for it with a company card. But that's one of the few things that, like, as a driver, you could fuck up the order. But other than that, I'm literally just transportation. Like, the bags are sealed. I can't even check if it's right. Like, I might be able to notice, like, hey, they forgot the soda. But I can't rip open a bag and be like, you're missing a cheeseburger. And it falls back on us. People be like, hey, where's my fucking Big Mac? And it's like, that bag is stapled shut. Like, I can't even.
Well, the thing, it's like the bane of my existence is like a couple years ago, it was during COVID, they got online ordering. And I'm like, I think it's like my Ted Kaczynski brain, like just not liking, I'm technologically adverse. Like, I know we're a podcast on the internet, but like I am to a certain extent like very afraid of like technology and just like why we've gone to the extents we have. We really should dial it back a lot, at least in my opinion. One of those things though is, like you said, I understand that like you don't like having the conversation with the fucker on the phone. I kind of prefer that, but it's because I see how easy it is to fuck up online ordering. And when I see these like people that get online ordering get their shit wrong, and it's like then you have to call them back and explain it to them like why it's wrong, because it's not a perfect system. And like
showing up as acronyms and like
cut
off text.
Not even like that. It's like we have a system now that like someone can go online and hit like 15 lobster rolls, and there's no way of that order not printing back in the kitchen now. And I'm like, that's fucking retarded. All you need to do is have a credit card that could be like a burner credit card, honestly, and just like order 15 of something, and it's like I have to fucking honor that as if it's a real transaction. And then if nobody decides to pick it up, it's like, well, that's on us. Like, we just burn 15, whatever.
That does happen a lot with the meal delivery apps.
And they think because they don't have to talk to someone on the phone, it's the greatest fucking thing ever. And I'm like, you are like I hate it. I hate it. And I think like I put my foot down. If I didn't have to fucking work for the money this year, I said that I wouldn't work there if they had online ordering again this year. But
as a restaurant, they have to. You almost have to, because everywhere, like even Dino's Diner has online ordering.
It's retarded, though. It's retarded. I think it's
just the way that things are going, though. Like, as a business owner, to be competitive, you almost have to incorporate these new things.
Yeah, well, it's like I don't think that I think that if we resist the landscape changing, that it would actually have a lot more benevolence than trying to go with it, because I think a lot of people have just been going with the flow with food trends for a really long time. And I think if somebody was ballsy enough to be like, no, we're not fucking doing it.
You got to pick up the phone and call.
Yeah, like it would be like a little bit more direct. It's like, okay, why don't they have that? And like I think that it stimulates curiosity more than it does prevents people from ordering, because like those people that don't want to have that conversation aren't gonna fucking do it. But like somebody that's like, oh well, they don't have online ordering, but like I like their food, or like it has good reviews, or like whatever it is, as long as your product carries, it's like your product will speak for itself regardless of what it is. Like I understand that, like, yeah, you don't get quite the publicity. Here's another thing with the fucking waitresses I hate too. Their whole thing is they want to go viral. They don't care about anything else in their life except for their social media posts, like the ones for the restaurant, going viral, which is impossible because they suck. They're fucking terrible.
Some dumpy shore town in the middle of Cape May County.
And they think that they're going to be like the next big thing, and they're like planning TikTok dances for like points in the summer and shit like that. It's fucking retarded, and like it has nothing to do with what makes the business operate, like what makes it functional, and like what makes
friendly service and good food.
Baseline service and good food, and that's all you really fucking need. And like sometimes,
especially with your target demographic, it's going to be predominantly older, wealthy people that have shore houses in Avalon. They're not going on TikTok.
Well, they have grandkids, and that's like the argument is like, oh, well, the grandkids will see you guys doing the dance, and then
they're going to want grandpa and grandpa to go.
They're going to want grandpa and grandpa to go. But it's like, no, grandpa and grandpa like are gonna die of
grandpa.
Grandpa and grandpa are gonna fucking blow each other on the golf cart and fucking get into a car accident and then
These guys were ahead of their time.
They die of COVID and fucking face down in a pile of monkeypox in grandpa's ass. But no, anyway, what were we talking
about? Going viral at the restaurant.
Going viral is like that's their whole prerogative, and I can't fucking wrap my head around like why they won't just put the effort into, instead of trying to get the attention of like millions of strangers, why they don't focus on like the 40 a day that are going to give them money in that moment. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It fucking makes no fucking sense to me. And like their whole like dynamic of, give me, like one of them actually said in one of the group chats at the beginning of the season, I don't even like the customers. I really hope like someone does hear this too. Like, I really don't like the customers. I just want them to give me their money. And I'm like, you are a fucking cunt. Like,
I almost feel that way about like the people I work for though. I mean, with the grocery people, like my mom she was doing an order on Instacart last week. She does it on the side a little bit. She's the one who got me into it. And there was some technical difficulties at ShopRite where it was cash only that day, and she couldn't.
Oh yeah, their machine went down.
She couldn't pay for the order, and she felt bad for the customer. She was like, "Well, this person's not going to get their order now." Me, I'm like, I don't give a fuck if Charlene in the fucking Gardens gets her fucking rotisserie chicken. Like, I really don't. Like, I just want the money.
Oh well, like that's
I do
different.
Want to get it there in a timely manner if I'm able to do. But like,
but no. That's when what you just said right there though is what is the difference, because you said I do want to get it in a timely manner though, because that reflects what your pay will be.
Yeah.
But you having that diligence and like acknowledgement of like, yeah, me doing my job properly will get me to that is not like, well, yeah, I kind of want the money.
Sleep over the order not going through though. I'm like, oh, this poor old lady won't get her fucking paper towels. Like, I really don't care if they get their shit or not, but like, I know that I have to get it to them on time.
Yeah, exactly.
And get something, even if they don't have the specific product, I have to get something close enough for it to like be satisfactory.
Yeah.
Like,
but you
have to provide some semblance of customer service, like you're saying.
But you willing to go like that baseline is like it's like there's a difference between you saying like, all right, I just want your money. Like, you do, we all do. Like, I want to go in there and not have to do any fucking prep work, sit around for fucking 8 hours a day, take a nap in the walk-in, like whatever, and get
make $200 a day.
And get like whatever I fucking need to make a day. Exactly. But like when push comes to shove, I have to work. I have to open it up every day. I have to top everything off. I have to make the sauces. I have to cut the vegetables. I have to prep the chicken. I have to fucking do like all the chips and all that bullshit. And what it really, there we go.
For the Cardinals,
St. Louis and the under, and I think the under's 9 or 8.5. Yeah, 8.5. So that's 9. But no, like you understanding that like it's not your product. You have no pride in the actual food or paper towels or whatever it is. You have no, like, you are the middleman, but all your job as the middleman is to do that job correctly, which is get the shit there on time and as accurately as you can to your ability,
depending on availability and whatnot.
Exactly. But you doing that, acknowledging that, is not like them where they're just like, I want to do nothing.
They're just like, fuck you, pay me.
Fuck
like
you, pay me. Yeah, fuck you, pay me. Yeah, like it's exactly it. Yeah, like they just, that's what their mentality is. And like when they say shit like that, it's like, well, now that I know this, and like I know that this is like the way that you guys have been thinking, and like your, like, people in your demographic are thinking, like, I'm a lot more apprehensive now to like even go out to eat, let alone tip. And I've always been that way. I prefer cooking for myself, if at all. A treat will be like McDonald's. Like that's like the closest thing to like eating out I usually go to. But like, you know, or like Wawa maybe, but like Wawa's just because I want to go see Giglio. Like I like seeing my boy. You know, like, but it's like this whole like, I have to tip you. I don't do that. I don't believe in like that you have to tip waitresses.
Like Mr. Pink and Reservoir Dogs.
No. Bartenders absolutely, and then there's like people like if you got to get an oil change and you're in a tight spot or whatever like that, I can understand not tipping it. But I usually grease the guy like $5 for.
I never tip for an oil change.
I tip for an oil change.
Yeah, I didn't know that was a thing. I tip the fuel attendants out there. I'm a buck or two. I didn't know you were supposed to tip oil change people.
I don't think you are. It's all my family's.
But
always
I tip other things like the.
You give gratuity.
I got a tow. My grandmom's car got towed. She got into a fender bender last week, and it was in police impound. We had to get it towed from the police station back to the house.
Why not frogged?
I duked the guy at 20 just because like he had to go to the police station with me and like sign some form, and it was like he had to do an extra step. So like for taking up a half an hour of your time, like here's $20. Thanks for fucking being cool about it. And like, or even when Safe Light replaced my windshield, like you don't have to tip those guys, but like I just threw them a 20. Well, like certain things.
There was something pointed out to me by one of the richest people I've ever met. And I won't say who. It's one of my friend's dads though, and he told me that do you know that tips, like tipping, tips TIPS is like an acronym for to ensure prompt service. And when it was like actually introduced as a concept, it like everybody's like, oh, it's from like the American slave era. It was more like a thing that everybody just kind of did as like a sign of good faith that like, hey, I'm going to give you like a small sum of money up front to ensure prompt service so that you'll pay attention to me and make sure that my needs are met. And it was something that you would do initially, but like then everything kind of came in a tabulation based thing as opposed to like pay as you go. Kind of like
tip after service and shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. So a tap, if you will. Yeah. But like a gratuity has always been like an upfront thing, and it's like a real recent development that now it's like a post service kind of gesture. But like what it is doing though, it's like it's a gratuity thing. It's like a thank you for giving me that attention, going the extra mile, doing whatever. And like I don't agree with it in the food service industry, especially if that tip is not going to the person that made my food. And like I seldom drop one when I go to the pizza place. They hate me for that, but like, and I probably get spitting up my food more than not. But like, you guys are just turning 180 degrees and taking some cash. Like, I'm not giving you fucking money for that. Like, it's fucking.
I might stuff like takeout. I might throw a buck or two.
If I have pocket change is usually what I do. Or they give me change, I'll dump it in there. Ice cream's different. I'll tip with ice cream because those are like young kids, and that's like there are people that are designed to do that job where it's like really you can't fuck up making ice cream. You can't really like cut yourself or get hurt or whatever.
Sometimes I like over tip. Like I tipped like $5 at the ice cream joint.
Yeah,
and
I
usually
do that too.
But yeah, like
they're
I
young,
know the guy who owns it. He was my old hockey coach, and he's like, for the young man back here, I'm like, yeah, just put the change in the tip jar. Like fuck it. That's, shit like that.
But that's like
Depends
a gesture.
On your mood
like
too.
I said, that's like a gesture. But like when they expect it, it's like Village Kitchen. I'll tell you that.
I don't want you to like get down on your knees and like praise me and thank me, but like even just a simple like thanks so much, man, like something like that. Because I had a guy give me $10 cash and he tipped me 10 on the app just for driving a pizza like half a mile, and I was just like, thank you so much, man, like I really appreciate it. That's all you gotta.
And you got there on time probably too,
early,
right?
but like when
there you go.
When people when you give them a decent tip and they like just don't even acknowledge you at all, that's just like that's expected.
Yeah,
just like dude, like fuck you.
And that's exactly why I don't fucking like this this server thing going on where they all think that like they're somehow
make $300 a night every night.
They think they deserve $15 an hour, and I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Plus
tips. Yeah. And I'm like, no, get the fuck out of here. Like when I was a counter guy, like the closest thing to like serving outright that I ever did was when I was a delivery driver. But I would make the dough in the morning, I would work the counter and drive a car and answer phones, make the boxes, help them break everything down, clean, mop, do the whole 9 yards. But like I had like 4 hats that I had to wear at any given time there, and if I'm not in the car driving pies, then I'm either turning pies, answering a phone, putting something into the fucking computer, doing something like that. And it's like, or tabulating shit, running credit cards, whatever. You got like a lot of fucking things you got to do where tipping adds up, and like I was good at that because I hustle. And like you hustle, you take the apps, like you'll like be like, yeah, watching a movie, she's asleep, there's a $20 pop, like fuck it, it's worth it. It's like 1:30 in the morning, like it's like a quick $20 in my pocket. How we doing? I understand that. Those waitresses are like, I am not doing anything until like $1 is put in my like in front of me, and it's like you're a dumbass. Like you're a dumbass. You reap what you sow. You get out what you put in, and it's like they don't understand that, and that disconnect is really what it is. Like I was a counter person, but I go. Like Village Kitchen's a good example. You've been over there, and like their counter, their waitresses, those are some of the best fucking waitresses, dude.
Food comes out quick.
That is a tiny fucking place, and they turn tops in there like every 4 minutes. Like I was doing the math on it the one day without accounting for the counter. They were turning tables in like less than 10 minutes, and like there wasn't a line in there, and the place was fucking buzzing, man. Like it was, and then I got like the outdoor seating too, which is like, yeah, it alleviates a little pressure on the inside, but that also is now another section that a waitress has to attend to, and they only have like the 4 in rotation there usually when I'm there. So like they're all split
ship.
Dude, but they're
all pretty friendly and
they're attentive. They don't kiss your ass, but they will come over and talk to you. I have a little rapport with the one that likes my dad, like, you know, like the one that's usually our regular because we sit at the counter. So like, yeah, like they all know us, but like at the same time they know to kind of just like leave you be, do the job right. If you say something that like they're knowledgeable, where they're like, all right, we don't have mushrooms today or whatever, like it's like, oh, okay, like we don't have mushrooms, but we do have sauteed onions. We like those. Like, yeah, something like that where it's like they can fix it without having to ask a question, like like go somewhere else, or like, you know, anything like that. And he's caught. All right, so yeah, like that fucking like that shit is like where they have to come back and ask us, can you put clam strips and fried oysters on half and half of a sandwich? Like, no, those are like, that's not how the thing is prepared. Well, I already told the guy that you could, and it's like, well, no, go tell him that you're wrong. Like, well, Michelle said it was okay. I understand what you're doing. You put the cart before the horse and didn't have the balls to say, no, sir, you could have one or the other or order 2 sandwiches. Which, by the way, if you were direct like that, the guy probably would pick one or the other or order 2 sandwiches. He would do one of those 3 things. But you think that because you're kissing his ass and pandering to him, he's going to give you more money. But no, what it's really doing is putting it in his head that, oh, this woman's a pushover, and I could probably complain about my bill now and be like, yeah, this sandwich wasn't really that good. Like, can you take like 25% off my bill? Which people do all the fucking time.
That's crazy to me.
Because our waitresses are fucking pushovers. They show weakness and like immediately.
I've never done that at a restaurant.
Neither have I, but people do it constantly at our restaurant. They're like either that or like, do you have a local discount or like a Diners Club card discount? We have like a 15% and then like a we fucked up like an oopsie like 25% one. The oopsie gets
even if food's like bad, I've never been like, get me your manager. I was picking up an Applebee's and there was this big fat dude in there and he was like screaming at the teenage waitress like, get me your general manager right now. And he was like, this is ridiculous, and his jowls are like flapping and I'm like, how bad is your life that like
you have to spaz on a teenager?
You went to Applebee's. Like, were you expecting fine dining?
That's the other thing too, bro. I don't know what these fucking people expect of like any of us. Like we got a guy who was complaining that he bought $240 worth of food the other day, and he was like, none of this food was like, the potatoes were too small. I'm like, what's the problem with that? He's like, well, some small potatoes, but like he was like mad and like waited 24 hours to complain about the size of our potatoes. And like what it really was that the guy probably was driving back to Philly, got stuck in traffic, and his wife was bitching at him, and like he was like, I need someone to freak out.
Outlet.
Yeah, so he called and complained about the potatoes because his wife was in earshot, and it seemed like, you know, all right, well, I'm doing something dignified as a man. Like that's exactly what it is. You can clock it for what it is however you'd like, but that's, you know, like pretty fucking obvious.
More than likely.
Yeah, like so when you have like shit like that where you're like what was your expectation up front that you're mad about the size of a baked potato that you ate yesterday? You've probably eaten 2 meals since you had that baked potato, like, and you're still hung up on it. Like, what were you expecting? We were literally a fry shack like down the shore.
Yeah,
we're
this is not Ruth Chris.
Yeah, we're not Gordon Ramsay's. Like, yeah. You can go to those. There's a place right across the street, Il Pasto.
Fine dining.
It's like they do white plate shit and they have outdoor seating, which, by the way, I can't wrap my head around fucking outdoor seating. Like over in Europe, made total fucking sense, but it's because all the town squares are like, there's no cars going, or like if there are, there's very limited cars that are driving around down there. But like when push comes to shove, like you're in Dune Drive in Avalon, you're 4 feet away from where like some redneck's fucking F-250 with the fucking smokestack is like brah, 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 brah.
Fucking clouds.
Like, and just like you're eating next to that. Like that's disgusting, and I do not understand the appeal one fucking bit, but people go fucking crazy and we get complaints all the time because we don't have outdoor seating. I'm like, I don't really want you in my restaurant, like, to be completely honest.
I kind of like sitting outside. Depends on the location.
Like I said, I do. I get, like, if we're on the boardwalk in Atlantic City, that, like, place right there by Tropicana, like, there's, like, the beer garden, and then there's that place, Bungalows.
Yeah.
That Bungalows place, you get a hookah there and, like, just fucking sit on those couches. I've done that once or twice. It's pretty fucking nice. Like, it's, like, a really fucking chill thing to do. But, like, no, I'm talking, like, when you're right next to, like, a fucking 35 per hour road. Yeah, it's like, why don't you have outdoor... Like, even, El Caps, I like the food there, but I always get it to go. Like, I don't want to eat next to the fucking highway. Like, what if a tire comes bouncing off of 50? Like, you left. I saw that happen on 9 the other day. I was coming home, and, like, dude's fucking tire blew out. And, like, on the big 18-wheelers, you know, there's, like, big diesel tires where they blow out, but the rim stays on the truck, and then the rubber, like, starts rolling.
Yeah.
Dude, it did that into oncoming traffic, and then, like, angled off the car, like, 2 ahead of me.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Dude, he fucking crushed it.
Yeah, man, he fucking did. That was a pretty hard home run, too. But yeah, we're gonna wrap up.
I gotta head out.
Yeah, you got anything to plug?
Just my ass.
Yeah, same. Follow us on Instagram and go fuck yourself.
Love you.